everybody. How are you doing this evening? It is Wednesday. It is May the 14th. It is 2025, and people are teasing me about having to tell you what day it is and what time it is and everything. But that is just, as I said before, that's just my thing. It's around 7 o'clock on the East Coast. And guess what? You've tuned into the Power of Transformation broadcast, and I am your host. I am Dr. Paula Obie. And we come together every week and we have things to talk about. We have guests. And then there are times when I want to talk to you from the heart. And tonight is that time. So we're going to talk about a topic that was we discussed a little bit 2 weeks ago. But I want to take it into another direction, right? And then we're going to have a heart to heart with Dr. Paula. So what happens when I tell you, and I want you to tag your friends, and I want you to call them, and I want you to tell them that they don't want to miss the Power of Transportation broadcast. And when I ask you to do that, I will do the same thing. So tag them if you have time, call them if you have time, and text them and say, join us tonight for a discussion, a really powerful discussion with Dr. Paula Obie, because it's going to be from the heart. And when I ask you to do it, I will do the same thing. So we'll see you in just a few minutes. So we're back. Now I'm warning you, we're having like a little party upstairs. So if you hear laughter or whatever, just join in with the laughter and everything would be fine. I'd rather have laughter than anything else. But anyway, listen, I'm going to take these glasses off. I want you to lean in. We want to discuss restoring and restoration. We talked about it a little bit 2 weeks ago when Prophetess Tasha was here, and she was talking about how do we reconnect, and basically maybe about 5 minutes we talked about restoration, and I haven't been able to get that out of my mind. And I think the reason that I haven't been able to get it off my mind is because I know firsthand what happens when you do not restore yourself, or when you are not in a place where you can be restored. I know what happens at work. I know what happens in my personal life, in every area, and it's worth a discussion tonight. I'm not going to be with you long, but I want to really zero in on the importance of you taking a moment to figure out how to get restored. Now, somebody might say, "Oh, I don't need to be restored because I don't work that hard." That's fine. Well, maybe someone needs to be restored, because many, many, many times you have folks who really need restoration. They're not going to tell you. They're not going to call you up and say, "Oh my God, I need restoration." They may say something like, "I'm a little tired." You heard that? Have you felt that? They may say something like, "Whew, that last task took a whole lot out of me. I don't think I want to do that again for another 5 years." And then if you just take a moment to listen to them or look at them, they may show you signs that they've been through some things and they haven't had the time to reconnect and get themselves back to a centered place. I call that centered place restoration. You and I need it. We're not machines. We need to take a moment, well, maybe two, sit back and figure out how to get us back into a healthier place. A couple of weeks ago, we discussed one of my favorite scriptures, Psalm 23. And we got down to the part where we said, "The Lord is my shepherd." We went through that. "And he maketh me to lie down in green pastures, and he leadeth me beside the still waters." And Tasha stopped and said, "What's the next verse?" And I said, "He restoreth my soul." And I thought about it. Do I often not know when I need to be restored? Do I often not know when I'm like on E? Really on E. I'm like really on E. Do I not know when the environment is so complex, toxic, crazy? Give me another word, somebody, that I can barely handle it. Do I not know that when I'm in that cycle, that is taking something out of me? Not to give you a full Bible study, but in Psalm 23, David was running from his father-in-law. Who, you got to go back and read it. His father-in-law was not happy with David for a number of reasons because David was his replacement. And he was chasing him for 15 years of his life. He wanted to kill him. I'm not saying that's where you are, but that put him in a place where he was constantly running. When the king declared something, it was done. So when they caught up with him and they saw him, he was supposed to be out of here. So when you sit down and you read that scripture, they leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. And it made me, again, go back to how we need to focus on why restoration is so important. We've just completed celebrating our mothers on Mother's Day. And you know as well as I, if you are a mother, there are days when restoration is something that you really need because you've been quite busy. And the busyness is not always on the task lists. The busyness sometimes is mental energy. You're thinking so hard about how am I going to fix this? You're thinking so hard about how am I going to fix that? You're thinking about what this person is doing. You're thinking about what that person is doing. You're thinking about how I'm going to get it done. Oh, I got to get dinner done. Oh, I got to do this. Oh, my way, I got to do that. And there's so many people dependent on you, including yourself, until you don't even realize, whew, I need to be restored. And David said he was led by the still waters. And when he was led to go to the still waters, where I'm sure he took a drink or maybe bathed or whatever, he said God stepped in, I'm using my words, and restored his soul. His soul. That means he was empty all the way down in his soul. Many of you don't want to tell it. You don't want anybody to know. But you've been running on empty for a long time. Barely making it, crawling out of the bed, the alarm clock goes off and you have, hit the snooze button like 50,000 times. Maybe, just maybe, you need restoration. Maybe, just maybe, you need a break. Restoration connects you to the place that centers you and feeds you and makes you become the better version of yourself. Admit it, we all get there. Now, as for me, being led to the still waters is not the way I get restored, but I can sure understand how it might be a better choice for some people. Some folks will say, I'll go to the mountain. Some people say, whatever method you choose, however you get there, remember, it's to bring you to a place where you can function. Not just for a moment. You need to function like for more than a moment. But it replaces and it replenishes and it gives you more about basically what was taken out of you. It puts it back in. So now you can go about, taking care of the rest of the things on your list. You should be more balanced. You should be more refreshed. You should be in a happier mood, maybe. Well, more than anything, you should be able to take care of what's in front of you. For example, let's say you work in a really chaotic environment. If I do a survey now, probably, there are 50 people there, maybe 50 out of 50 who say, oh, I work in a chaotic environment. I remember when I was in a really chaotic environment. Not now, but then I was. And every single day, y'all, I'd go in and try to figure out how in the world am I going to get through each minute. That's how chaotic it was. We were rolling off some former chaos, and then there was some extra chaos added. And I remember saying, what am I doing here? This is not for me. But it was a season. And I had to figure out how to get through that season. So guess what I did? I decided to go out on YouTube and find all of these different sounds so that I could actually play in my office in order to change the temperature, change the environment. I needed something more to get me through the 8, 9, sometimes 10-hour days, sometimes 12, under that type of craziness that just I wasn't accustomed to. I don't mind working, but the chaos, that's a different beast. But anyway, I digress. So I found that I really loved, and I did, the some folks do the rainfall. That's nice. Some folks do the sounds of the wilderness where the birds are singing. That's nice. But for me, I kind of like the ocean. I kind of like the ocean because even though it doesn't sound, it's not a still water, it's speaking to me. It's almost as if my connection with God is through the sounds of the waves. And I can sit there for hours or listen to it for hours. And I could feel myself getting reconnected and restored. If I walk along the beach and hear that sound, I could walk for hours. In my office, where there was so much chaos, it allowed me to just sit back in my chair. I can almost feel myself just relaxing even now. Sit back in my chair. And no matter what was said that was ugly, because there was some ugly things being said, there was crazy stuff going on, as long as I was listening to those sounds, I was being restored to the person who needed to be professional, the professional that I was called to be. Without it, I might not have, been the professional. I might not have been as productive. I had no idea that I was so disconnected. I had no idea, but the sounds of the ocean, wow. It tells me that when God wants to restore us, he uses a part of himself, that ocean he created, the still waters he created. But he knows what you're going to listen to. You may listen to a song. In my office, I couldn't listen to anything with words because there was something going on all the time. Somebody was saying this or interrupting, but the sound of the ocean, the track that I used was 11 hours long. I would turn it on as soon as I walked in the door. Turn it down when the phone was ringing. And for some reason, it just calmed the atmosphere. So if you listen to the sound of the ocean again, we're going to do it again. For those of you who feel disconnected, you've had a rough day, you've had a rough year, rough month, close your eyes. Listen to that sound. I feel like there's a peacefulness there. I've also found some answers there. It's saying to my spirit, to my ears, to my body, chill out. Take a break. Get yourself together. I'm bigger. I am bigger than all of that. Do you hear that? Is that what it's saying to you? I don't know. That's how it speaks to me. And because of the ability to hear that sound on a daily basis, when things were more chaos than I ever imagined, I began to get restored. There were days when I'm like, how am I going to get through it? I found answers. I got calmer, became calmer. I'm sure my blood pressure was probably lowered. I didn't respond to things as quickly. I gave myself a moment. I just feel like from the heart, I need to tell you, you need to find a way to get restored. Prayer is a beautiful way to get restored. Listening to this song, this music is a great way to get restored. Also, listen to one of your favorite songs. You have to decide if you're worth it because other people may not want you to take that moment. It's your time. You're worth it. And as I'm thinking about it, there are a lot of folks, and we said this 2 weeks ago, we don't even realize how much of this chaos and craziness, how it's impacting our health, how it's impacting our mental health and our relationships with people, relationship with ourselves, and our relationship with God. I said I wasn't going to be on here very long, and I'm getting ready to wrap it up. I'm not preaching to you. I'm just sharing with you that there were times, and it was a year ago, where I was not restored. It was one of the worst professional times I ever had in my life. I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? Just that time, just that season. But the sound of the ocean played a major part in restoring me. And I will tell you, once I just embraced that calmness, things started moving for me. And I will tell you, I was quite tense. I wasn't feeling well. I just wasn't myself. But I think I'm doing much better now. I know I'm feeling much better. My mind is like open to possibilities. I'm getting ready for my next. Got some things on the horizon. Why? How? Because he restoreth my soul. During the time when I needed it the most, he led me to this place where I can be restored. Now I'm turning this power of transformation train around. We've been out there chugging along, finding that restoration piece. Because now it's time to come back in. And I want to end this today with you just listening just a few more minutes to this sound. I'm Dr. Paula Obie, and I am a person who loves to get restored. And at the time when I was really falling apart, it was this sound that pulled me back together again. That's all I have for you tonight. My heart to hearts are not very long, but they're from the heart and they mean a lot. I will see you next week. I want you to just take a moment, close your eyes, listen to the sound, and get restored. I love you.